All right. Well, first off, this is Chris from FoxFury, and I was going to introduce you to who's going to be on this webinar today. And like Mike said, we are going to be talking about the TEDD, which is the Tactical Electronic Distraction Device. But first off, we have Mike Mcbride, who is our government and military sales manager. He has a past experience of being a fire chief, a fire training. He works with a lot of, like I said, military, government, law enforcement, SWAT teams. So he's had a good amount of experience working with the TEDD and getting feedback from departments. We also have Travis Quimby with us today, and he is another one of our sales managers from the Northeast. And we are, or his experience is about 17 years of law enforcement experience down in the Atlanta metro area. Everything from police supervisor to accident investigation to canine, ballistics, SWAT, DUI task force. He's even been playing with drones, so he's got a wide breadth of experience there. So with that, we're going to start off with a little video that we recorded yesterday with Mike. Unfortunately, we weren't able to, we didn't know if Mike was going to be here today, so we did a little pre-record just so that we'd be prepared. But it tells a little bit about the TEDD and what it does. And then after that, we'll open it up to some little bit further discussion on the TEDD.
Hi, I'm Mike with FoxFury Lighting. Today I'm going to talk about the Tactical Electronic Distraction Device known as the TEDD. The TEDD is a less lethal, reusable distraction device with light and sound. It comes with 2,600 lumens of solid white or strobe and 120 decibel siren. The TEDD is a device that reduces liability. It is reusable, rechargeable, less than lethal, and used in high hazard environments. It is a safe tactical advantage tool. It's intended to provide the least form of distraction, provide critical seconds for your officers to create a distraction, to make an interior attack, to create movement for a subject, or in some cases, you're just going to want to light interior rooms. What it is not intended to do is replace a stun grenade or a flashbang. The strobe light does not cause seizures. It is not intended to be thrown at someone directly. Let's talk about the features of the TEDD. It comes in white or IR. It has 2,600 lumens, 360 degrees worth of light, 120 decibels of sound. It has 8 programmable modes and 4 programmable activation delays. It is rechargeable lithium-ion battery. Running 2 TEDDs at the same time gives you the best possibility to create the best environment. The TEDD has a steel base with a polycarbonate body. It weighs 1.1 pounds. It wants to put itself in the position in the upright so it can give you the best ability of light at 360 degrees and also sound at 120 decibels. The power button is located right above the LED. The programmable mode button is located just lateral of the power button. The TEDD comes with a 110 charging adapter. As an accessory, we can get the USB charger. Great for international or for any USB charging port. Another great accessory, like I said, double redundancy is the key to go for this device. Double carrying pouch. Goes on a belt or a molly, great for tactical. One thing I want you to remember is this also comes in an IR capability, 940 nanometers, completely invisible light. Still gives you 360 degree with the 8 programmable modes and the 4 modes that give you the activation time. This is great for interior lighting for SWAT teams or anybody looking to take tactical advantage with NVGs. If any of these items you see here are something that will work great for you or your customers, please let us know. Demos are available. Just give us a call and we're ready to help.
All righty. So that's kind of the TEDD in a nutshell. And I'll let Mike and Travis kind of talk a little bit more in depth about what the TEDD is, what the TEDD isn't, and what it can do for you. Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, thanks. And thanks for doing the video like that, just in case anything was going on. The TEDD is a device that's going to be very unique to law enforcement, military, Department of Homeland Security agencies, security companies. with today's times, with everything with the civil unrest and how things are going, and a lot of departments looking at less than lethal solutions, this is one that we have tested. And this isn't just something we've released. A few people have seen it. A few people have used it. This is something we put in a lot of time and energy trying to make a situation safer for individuals involved in a scene that aren't being or looking to be apprehended or being inquired. This is something that's safe for the officers as well as people are in and around. It is a great tool to create a distraction device. It's something different. It is nothing like we said in the video that has anything to do with the flashbang or stun grenade. This is a distraction device. This is a tool to be used. Like I said, you can set it off interior. As you go down range, you can push subjects in a specific way, or you can use it as a tool to light up rooms from an advantage point outside. If SWAT teams are creating a tactical advantage with a wall of light or a curtain of light, this tool can also be then deployed interior and create light on the inside solid, or create a distraction when they do make an interior movement against someone. So being that this situation is different, and being that the situation outside with entities, law enforcement, are looking for less than lethal, the TED is a great complement for this aspect. And to even put it again with our shield lights or even some of our drone lights that you can take a look at as well, it makes a great complement overall. Travis, on being a law enforcement experience in most of your life, what do you see that would help with this?
Just to echo what you had said, the TED to me is important because it gives the officer, or even if you're a command officer, gives your officers that split second or two to get the advantage over a suspect or somebody that you're trying to take into custody. That to me is important because we all know that things happen, well, in law enforcement, things happen in a split second. If you have a chance to toss one of these down, you gain that split second to be able to take the person into custody or get the upper hand on them. And to me, that's extremely important for the safety of the officers and the public.
Yeah, I agree. Is there any questions or any information that would be required at this point in regards to what we've seen or talked about so far?
It sounds like, Mike, can you talk a little bit about the sound? You said 120 decibels. How loud is that? And, why 120 decibels? Yeah.
And then I also see there's a question we'll answer as soon as we go through that in regards to how long does it take to recharge. The decibels is at 120. I mean, there's a point where it becomes too loud for tactical side, or too loud for an end user that someone who would be receiving it, to where it would be greater than less than lethal, if you will. If you look at some of the reports and some of the safety aspects of decibel ratings, 120 is the rating where it's going to be confusing. It's going to be distracting. The sound comes out where it is to make someone in a situation unaware of what's going on in their surroundings. And it's also safe for everybody in the vicinity of it as well. But like I said, running two at a time creates a great enough distraction where it kind of puts you in that equilibrium where you're kind of like, what's going on? What is this? What's happening? And then when you add the strobe effect into it with 2600 lumens, it then becomes a visual distraction as well. So it's about creating the safest environment for an operator, officer, security guard. Like Travis said, you want to create that safe zone of time so you can make the best judgment at the quickest time available. So that's what basically it does, is just create that couple of seconds of safety zone to put yourself in the best position to being safe. How long does it take to recharge? It's about 2 hours, depending on, right around 2 hours it takes to recharge it from 0 to 100%. And again, it's a lithium ion battery, so there's no memory. It does a 500 run cycles. So it'll actually go a great deal of time. And what's really nice, being that it's rechargeable, it's great for training as well. So, I mean, this is a reusable device that's waterproof. So you can train in all aspects, outdoor, indoor, however you set up for your training events. It's a great tool to reuse over and over and over.
Excellent. What was the runtime on it? And not that in these situations it'd be really critical, but how long does the battery last on it per cycle?
It'll run 60 minutes from 100% to 1%, continuous.
All right.
So that means multiple deployments. You're not going to just have to deploy it and then charge it. You can get multiple deployments out of your, say if you have it in your patrol car, if you need it more than once or twice in a shift, it will still have enough battery to sustain it.
Yeah, great point.
So Travis, what do you see as ideal uses for the TED, and where do you see its potential?
I see it used a lot in your tactical situations when you don't have the ability to throw a flashbang or a stun grenade into a house, where it still gives you enough shock and awe, but at the same time, you have the safety end of it. Like I said, with not being able to throw it into a house with children, chemicals or explosives, that's when it's going to be used a lot. But I can also see it being used in the situations where you have mentally unstable persons, or somebody that's on a narcotic that you're having trouble to, talk down. It will give them enough disruption and the ability for the officer to put hands on or get the upper edge where they can move in on a suspect and take the person into custody with at least amount of force is necessary and a little bit safer to help with the injuries of officers and the suspect.
Excellent.
Just to reiterate, it's very important in today's time when liability is big and a lot of people are looking for a lot of different reasons to bring up anything. This is a device that's not going to be putting them in that situation where they have to look downrange, a liability side of it.
Yeah, the liability, that's a huge factor there, especially with so much scrutiny with departments now, and the threshold of what they can, what they can't do. This offers a good option there.
Yeah, and in some departments that don't have the ability to even purchase or even use flashbangs. So this is a device they can put in that's not going to go down that road, but then also will be on that side of giving them that safe zone.
So I was just looking at the specs while I was listening to you, and realized that this thing is actually waterproof. I thought it was like highly water resistant, but you can put this thing 10 feet underwater and it'll continue to produce sound and light, which is pretty unique, that you could use it in any situation and not have to worry about the weather or it functioning properly.
Yeah, it's a great point. Like Travis said, if you're working an 8-hour shift or you're working a scene and the scene's fluid and you're moving and moving and moving and it's exterior, interior, it's snowing out, it's raining out, if there's a flood going on and they're trying to ensure, even looting at that point, trying to clear areas, it's a device that can withstand all temperatures. It's rated the same way we rate some of our other personal lights. So yeah, great tool in all aspects. And that's even great for even training, because you're not going to train in perfect conditions all the time. And you're not wanting to put out equipment that's going to take a beating, going through different environments, with weather as well.
Nice. It looks like Pete was asking about pricing information. Do you want to talk about pricing and then just, availability and who's eligible for it and all that, Mike? Yeah,
so pricing set up in a structure, and for any rep that's asking about pricing, just get with your FoxFury sales rep for your area, and we'll get you all the information on that. And it's pretty simple. I mean, we have the TEDs in stock, and they have been doing very well. I mean, and it's not just specific groups of one users. Like you think SWAT would be the more side that's going to use a lot of the bangs. Well, this is security groups all over the U.S. and, as a matter of fact, Canada, and then outside international as well. Their end users are seeing the importance of this tool, which turned me on to a lot of different options and how it works. So again, if you want pricing, please just get with one of us, email or give us a call, and we'll get that all taken care of.
And to echo off of that, it's important that, you know, people know that we're not just selling these to just individual persons. These are, you know, specialty items, items that are only going to be used by law enforcement, security. So it has to be shipped to the agency's address or the fire department, your purchasing department. It's not being sold to just anybody.
Excellent. Mike, you touched on it briefly in the video yesterday, but can you talk a little bit about the IR version, which we will be officially launching here in the next couple of weeks, but that's coming out. You want to talk about that at all?
Yeah, great point. So the IR is a unique feature. If you're familiar with running IR or using IR nods or using an infrared scope, this is a device that is a great way to put personal infrared light downrange. You can put it through a window, light up a room. You can put it down an alley, light up an alley. You can use it on the strobe side, even within the military, being nods versus nods, if you will. For training, it's a great training tool. It's a great marking tool. So understanding the IR world, you'll understand those key points. 940 nanometers, it's completely invisible. The power button is IR, as well as the strobe or constant LEDs are IR as well. So we've tested it, we've used it doing manipulations. It will light up an area and create a great abundance of IR light to put you in a position that you're going to be able to deploy this in any situation, interior or exterior. So yeah, the best thing to obviously do, we sell tools that we want to ensure we keep people safe. That's what we do. What we also want people to train and test with these tools to ensure they know what they're getting when they test it. So that's why we want to offer the demos. We want to get them out in the hands of the end users. We want to get them out in the hands of the sales reps, because you have to use it and abuse it to understand how well this tool is going to work for you. But the IR is something really neat. If you understand IR, you'll understand this is going to be a great tool downrange.
And that still does have the sound as well. It has the same 120 decibel sound?
Yes, everything's the same. The only thing that's changed are the LEDs.
Nice. All right. So I don't know if we have other questions. Oh, Travis, you
Yes,
have
sir.
a little bit of drone experience. Thinking about how this could be coupled with a drone tactically. Any thoughts on that application?
With the IR side, definitely. You can, you know, easily mark something or mark somebody, especially if you're out doing search and rescue. If you have a ground crew that's in and, you know, they're looking for somebody or they find them, you can obviously pinpoint their location with the drone. Another good option would be with K9. The IR, you don't want obviously the person that you're searching for to know where the K9 is, or the K9 handler. You can always have Overwatch with a drone, have that IR strobe going off and be able to pick it up on most of the thermal cameras. There's some out there that won't be able to, but most of the thermal cameras will be able to pick that up, so they can keep track of where the dog is and K9, just to keep an overwatch and making sure that they're okay.
Yeah, and I was at a event last week, 2 weeks ago, where we had several drones out. We had an M300, and that camera was picking up the TEDD and some of our other IR lights. The Lokis, which have their own IR light on there, but we put a TEDD in the room, and that thing, the TEDD lit up the room for the Loki camera, which was pretty sweet. And even the Parrot Anafi thermal, it was picking it up with the hybrid thermal and RGB. So it was getting that light as well. So several popular drones on the market that this is usable with. So see some exciting applications there for sure.
Yeah, but I see we got a question from LT DeFori. We'll get somebody to contact you just as soon as we end the webinar.
Good. All right.
Perfect.
Any other questions coming from the crowd, or you guys have anything else that you guys want to speak to?
In regards to the questions, if you see this video afterwards, please reach out to us. We can still answer any of the questions and still get any of the demos going. This is something for everybody to pass downrange to any of their end users or reps. You know, we want to make this as fluid as possible, and we want to get this device out there to show what it can do for a lot of people.
Good. All right. And I think there was a question too. One last question I missed earlier was about the lumens, and you know, why 2600 lumens, not higher lumens. And this kind of goes with the sound. It's basically a matter of physics. You know, we just have to make a bigger and bigger unit to get more light and a bigger speaker in there, and it would become unwieldy on a belt or on a vest. So it was a blend of keeping the size down and doing that. 2600 lumens is, especially when it's strobing, is pretty darn bright. You put two of them in a room and it does get very disorienting. So that's where we are with the light at this point, and I think it's a pretty good mix of size and power.
Yeah, great point. And 2600 lumens is, yes, it's a lot. And it's how it's delivered, how it's projected. And like you said, using it and demoing it is the best way to find out how it's going to work for you, or how you would train with it or use it on deployment.
The biggest thing that a lot of the law enforcement guys have to remember is that it's not a flashbang. You're not going to get the same effect as you would as a flashbang. That is a loud concussion with sometimes multiple concussions, and it rattles your brain. The TED is designed to distract. And if you get the light on top of the sound just high enough, and the lights they're at a perfect level, and you're in maybe a darker environment, or you're outside and you need the sound, what we're looking for as law enforcement is that split second of advantage over the person. You got to remember, again, I'm going to stress it because it's important to know that it's not a flashbang, but it will give you that split second over somebody and distract them.
Great point.
Good. All right. Well, it looks like that kind of covers all the questions that we have been getting in the chat room. Looks like several people asked questions, so thank you very much for that. And again, like Mike said, if you want more information on this, don't hesitate to contact us at FoxFury. And you can see the TED at foxfury.com/TEDD. And yeah, we look forward to hearing from you more. Oh, wait, we have one more question from Michael. Yeah, Travis, what do you think? Ideally, how many TEDs should an agency have on hand?
It all depends on the size of the agency. Ideally, if it was my choice, I would have every single officer have one in their bag, their duty bag, or on their belt. You never know when you can deploy it. The deployment the uses are endless, to be honest with you. It's all in your imagination and what you want to put in your policies and procedures on how to deploy it. If you have a chance to throw it out there and take someone into custody, or being able to get out of there, I would definitely have it in every single car. That's my opinion. Smaller agencies obviously aren't going to be able to afford as much, but as long as you have, I would say, 2 up to 6 for tiny agencies, and then multiple for your larger agencies.
And Michael's followed up with a 10-man SWAT team equals 10 TEDs plus patrol having it in each car. What are your thoughts on that, Travis?
I guess I didn't get the question. Can you
read
it
okay.
again?
No, Michael was just following up with the 10-man SWAT team equals 10 TEDs or a patrol having it in each car, which,
Yes.
yeah.
And you never know how many you're going to need. I mean, if you have multiple, I've been on multiple, well, being in the Metro Atlanta area, where we've had all the 3-letter acronym agencies come out, and we've assisted in running several different ops at one time, or hitting multiple locations at one time. Everybody on the SWAT team, I mean, you're look at throwing 1 to 2, maybe even 3 of those into a room at one time, and it's going to overload the senses to a point where you're going to have, it's going to be distracting enough to where you can get your team in there. I would have it in every patrol car or every go bag.
Good. All right, Michael says thanks. In conclusion, you can see the TED on the FoxFury website. We also have some other videos on the website as well to kind of illustrate the usage. We have a product demo video that goes a little bit more into like the programming, the different modes, how to do it, all that kind of stuff. So you can get a lot of information there. And then again, don't hesitate to contact us to get more, to get demos or find out more information. And we'll also be sending out this recording later on today. So if you missed it or want to share it with your department, we definitely would like that. And thank you very much for your time and joining us today. And I hope you have the good rest of your day.
Thank you, everyone.
Yep. Thank you. Be safe.
See ya.